listening to Stephen Pressfield on Rich Roll, and it's hitting me right where I am. He's talking about how there was a moment, which he's mentioned in The War of Art. I've read The War of Art. He said he also mentions it in his new book that we're talking about, Government Cheese. Who's that for a name? The idea that there was a moment where he got his typewriter out and he felt a shift where he was like, okay, I'm a writer, this is working. He said it was another 25 years before he actually published a book. But there was something there, that something happened that made him think, okay, I'm a writer. And that's kind of what I'm thinking about now. That's where I am in my life. He's talking a lot about how God's shine down on triers. He puts it far more eloquently than that, as does Rich Roll. As Stephen Pressfield asks of Rich Roll, when's a moment for you then? And he talks about giving up the law. He was a lawyer and he moved into becoming an ultra athlete, and he said something like, if I can provide for my family in a meaningful way while helping others. He felt that was his calling, but he didn't really know what that looked like. But that's me, isn't it? So this was coming up for me. It's a fascinating listen, as I expected it would be. I'm only halfway through. So you might see me again jumping on to talk about what else comes up for me. And here's another wee bit of it. I think a lot of it is to do with paying attention to what's going on. And just being open to signals from the universe or from source or wherever. Looking for little connections, you know, like today. There was an email newsletter came through from a writer that I know who's doing the Foster course with me, called Alicia Kenworthy. And she mentioned that Ira Glass, talent, the gap between talent and hard work. And I didn't know what it was, so I had to go and look it up. So I'll put a link in the show notes. It's a short video that explains Ira's idea of putting the work in, doing the work, the thing that you feel called to do, and how a lot of people just give up because, well, it's taste and talent, that's what it is. You have taste, but you don't have talent, so it takes hard work to get to the point where you're producing something that you see in your head as being worthy, you know? And that gets mentioned in the Rich Roll podcast with Stephen Pressfield. They talk a little bit about talent, a lot about taste. And they mention greats like Bob Dylan and Neil Young, Joni Mitchell, people like that who by 20 had a body of work, and they seem to come out of the traps with tasteful work already without having to go through that phase. But for most people, you know, you have to do the work. So there's just a little idea of the message that I'm receiving. I've had this message from 2 different sources today. And so I'm choosing to see that there's a connection there and play to that by my actions, putting in the work.